Hey there, and welcome back to Hi Neighbor. My name is Laird Davis.
And I'm Ned Moultrie.
On today's episode, we're rediscovering our groove in the music scene here in the High Country and exploring some of the ways our community enjoys everything from local bands to top 50 tours.
As a way to connect with others and express individuality, music has a constant presence in the lives of most mountaineers.
Today, we'll hear from an APPS representative who helped organize musical performances, speak with local artists themselves, and learn more about another upcoming theater performance.
Join us by listening, loving, and learning through music in our community as we say,
Hi,
Hi neighbor. Appalachian Popular Programming Society on campus is responsible for planning diverse, quality events for the entire community that range from comedy shows to concerts and everything in between. Here today to tell us more about the behind the scenes of on-campus musical performance is Main Stage Chairperson Alex Brody. Hey Alex.
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you, good to see you. Obviously, you're here to talk about some tunes, but more than anything, we're gonna talk about apps.
Yeah.
So could you kind of just give me a broad talk of what a person that joins apps, kind of what they do?
Yeah, for sure. So apps consists of 7 different seven different councils. And so two of those councils are music councils. And so within those music councils, there is club shows, which does Legends. Anything in Legends is club shows domain, and then Main Stage, which does the larger Legend shows, Schaefer, some of the Schaefer shows, and Convocation. And so our general body members sort of help pick who comes, do all the advertising, run a day of show, all the marketing and all that stuff. Anything a normal music venue would do.
Yeah.
Plus a little bit more with the university side
While
of stuff.
ensuring safety, of course.
Yeah, of course,
we got so many dope artists that have came in the past, artists coming in the future, of course.
Yeah.
And obviously you've been with apps for a little bit now. Can you tell me kind of about your position, how long you've held it?
Yeah, so this is my first year as Main Stage Chairperson. Last year I was Club Shows Chairperson. So it's something new, something different, something a little bit bigger. And so it's kind of taking what I learned in club shows with the more local bands and the smaller national acts and building it to use that towards the national acts.
And one question everybody always asks, they're like, oh, okay, so who are we getting, who are we choosing from? And everyone's like, oh, we want Post Malone, we want this person, so everyone wants somebody different. So how do y'all kind of come to a decision of an act that you're gonna get to come up here?
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool but pretty complicated process. So number one, we look at our venue. So Legends is our number one, biggest, most important venue. We love Legends. And so Legends holds roughly, we can sell about 950 tickets. And so what we do is look at the price for different artists, for genres that we haven't typically gotten, and then price those out to look at the per ticket price so we can have good subsidized ticket prices for students so it can be accessible for people to come. And so once we have a good list of artists in specific genres that we haven't had before, we bring a list of those artists to agents and middle agents, and they say, okay, these artists are available in these price ranges. Who do you want?
Okay.
And so we have our council pick from that.
I was just about to follow up with that, and how do the councils kind of play a role into that? So that's kind of awesome that you mentioned them, because I know, you were talking about how long the lists are and all of these things, because it just sounds like such a complicated process to get the right artists to come. So if you could possibly elaborate on the importance of the council when it comes to selecting?
Yeah, the council's the whole process, basically. We can't just have one person be the voice of music for the whole entire student body. And so we have those 2 music councils selecting the artists from the list that we get sent. And so sort of taking what we can realistically do and having our members pick from that list what's best for the university.
So we always talk about the concert, and everyone gets hype and the posters everywhere.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of come together with crafting the atmosphere and environment to get these concerts to come together?
Yeah. That's the toughest part of the job, really. People automatically get excited for these really, really, really big shows, like Migos, Kesha, all those.
I was at Migos.
Yeah,
great.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Great.
And so all those types of shows the hype just builds itself. But for our more small Legend shows like Saba last year and stuff like that, we kind of have to create the atmosphere of people wanting to come. And so with that, we use creative marketing tools like just talking to people, putting posters up everywhere, using a lot of social media to just sort of let people know that the show's happening and why they should care about these artists.
Because you'll definitely have to build for a smaller artist. I remember when y'all got Saba.
Yeah.
I was walking and I was like, oh my gosh, like Saba? Yeah. Saba's like the biggest artist, but he's like extremely dope.
Yeah.
If you know Saba. And I think what's crazy is we're in Boone, so we're in the mountains. We're kind of far. How would you kind of compare the music scene kind of differently from like, the bigger cities like Charlotte to how it's different up here in Boone?
Yeah, it's a lot different, mostly because App State is a primarily white institution, so it's hard to book these diverse acts, because when we do try to book more diverse acts, they tend to go to Charlotte or Greensboro and not come to Boone because Boone's a PWI, and so that's a big culture that we're trying to shift and try to get more diverse acts that Charlotte, Greensboro, Raleigh get, and that's one of our toughest challenges. But I think Boone has a unique music scene in the way that there are diverse tastes in Boone. So people, if we'll book Doja Cat and a lot of people will show up, but we'll also book like Rainbow Kitten Surprise and a lot of people will show up. And so we can do just about anything, and it seems like it does really well.
So obviously you gotta love music. So how do you love music, and what does music kind of mean to you as an APPS member?
Yeah, so music is definitely my biggest passion. Live concerts specifically are my whole heart, and so bringing my love for live music into APPS is really important, because I know when I go to other shows what I like to see the people working do, and like what makes my experience great. And so we try to bring that into our shows, like from our past experiences, what can we do to make all the students' experiences as great as our best experiences?
Yep, and obviously no one's in college forever. How do you kind of plan to integrate music into your personal life post-graduation?
I love that question, because I always love to say that Legends is the classroom that no classroom could ever
be.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I've learned so much just from being in Legends, working closely with artists in live concert production. And so like running shows at the university is something that I've been so fortunate to have that experience that I would never get to have if I wasn't in APPS. And so it's just such a big thing that I will carry into my career. It's like I want to do basically the same exact thing outside of a university. And so it's such a great group of people and like such a great situation to be in for finding exactly what I want to do.
Of course, practice makes perfect.
So,
and obviously you're getting enough practice now. So thank you for stopping by, Alex.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Awesome. It was dope. You were great.
Thanks.
Coming up, we'll continue uncovering more about the musical culture here in the High Country on this episode of Hi Neighbor.
I'm Kenny.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Amari.
And we are KJ. Finance and banking major, minor nonprofit.
Okay, I'm cell and molecular biology major with a minor in chemistry.
I'm communication studies with a minor in marketing and sales. I guess it kind of started with me and Kenny hanging out, and we both liked music. And I was following in my brother's footsteps. He made music just kind of like the same way I do. So I started to just make it, and eventually kind of like got into more like electronic hip hop rap type beats. And that's when Kenny perked up. He was like, "Wait, we should like try to rap over it or something." And this is like 10th grade, so this is like this was not quality. This was, but I mean, you gotta start somewhere. So that's what we did.
You like sent me a link, and I was like eating breakfast in like senior year, and I was like, "Yeah, let me rap about cereal," like that. And we bonded a lot over hip hop and like why we love it, and like a bunch of artists that we had in common. I was like walking in Clemens, and I like walked right past Multicultural, and I was like, I should go in. Then I kept walking, and I was like, no, I'm going. And so I like turned around, and I was like, hey guys, like my roommates are like doing like one of the first ever rap groups in Legends. Like if you want to support, like we'd love for y'all to come out and like see diversity. Like I'm sure y'all know rap too. And so then they were like, heck yeah, like give us a flyer and we'll like spread the word. So
before we got this desk and put everything on it, it was just like the couch wasn't there. This is just an open room, and we literally had like, we didn't even have the keyboard. We just had like everything like, laid out on the floor. There were wires everywhere, and it was like, I think I had the shoebox, and I was like holding up the display. And we just want like the audience to feel like our music. We want them to move. Like the lyrics, like it's kind of hard to like. We might have like a recognizable chorus I want to like sing along to, but like. But we just want the music to get people going, and like, because we like what we hear. That's why we make it, and like. It makes us move, it makes us want to like jump around. So hopefully it does the same to them.
Earlier this year, we got to sit down with the lead singer of the new local band, Galloway. The lead singer, Lawson Galloway, was nice enough just to sit down with us and give us an insight into what it's like to be in a new band. Ever since we last sat down and talked with Lawson, the band has been busy, writing and recording new music to release in the future. While talking with Lawson recently, he gave us an insight into the writing process for the band. He said that for the most part, the lyrics are written by him. However, the music for the song is a collaborative process. Many members of the band receive a voice memo in their group chat, and they work on their own individual parts. He said that when they get together on their weekly or bi-weekly basis to practice, this is when they take those parts and put them into a whole, tweaking and working with the parts to make them sound good together and to make the song sound the best that it can. When they finally have a product that they're happy with, this is when they start looking towards recording. The other process the band has been going through is playing live shows. A lot of these live shows require promotion from the band, whether it be on social media or through the means of their manager, who they have recently taken on by the name of Justin Lundy. Getting to play some of these shows in smaller venues has been great for them to be able to build an audience in a very intimate setting. In talking with the band, it seems that their favorite part of these shows is getting to interact with other bands in the local scene. An example of one of these bands is Flores, an electronic ambient duo. And while the genre itself is very different from Galloway, many of the band members commented on how it can influence their own writing. And speaking of writing, Lawson said that the band is currently recording a somewhat alternative version to one of their songs that they will be premiering within the new year. So make sure that you are on the lookout for any of the new music that they will be putting up on Spotify, iTunes, and Apple Music.
So what are some of your thoughts on the Boone music scene?
Well, I feel like it's like a cliche answer, but I mean, I think that the Boone music scene is pretty decent. I haven't heard a whole bunch of bands, but the ones that I have heard are really good. They're really talented.
Hi, neighbor. Welcome back to Theater and Dance Today. I'm your host, Professor Derek. The Fall Appalachian Dance Ensemble is a popular annual concert that features choreography and performances of talented faculty, student, and guest artists. Today I'm joined by Professor Susan Lutz and student choreographer and artist currently known as Tree to talk to us more about Fade this year. Thanks both of you for coming to the show. Susan, we'll start with you first. How many pieces are in the concert today?
There are 8 pieces. We have 5 that are choreographed by students, 2 that are choreographed by current faculty, and 1 that's choreographed by a guest artist.
And the guest artist is?
The guest artist is Marie Ramalia, and she's a freelance choreographer, dancer, and teacher based in Florida, and she came up for a week, taught classes, and set a piece on our dancers. That's Excellent. Really exciting.
So our student dancers are getting a chance to work with a professional outside of
Yes.
Appalachian. Awesome.
Yes.
And about how many students are involved this year? Do you know?
Oh, I would say between 40 to 50 students, dancers and choreographers all together.
And that's not counting backstage and designers and everything else.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, big undertaking. Do you have a piece?
I do. I have choreographed a piece for this year. It's a light-hearted piece that kind of addresses the idea of community, but hopefully it's just fun.
And does it have a style, or is it kind of?
It's kind of a cross between modern and jazz. A little bit of both and some fusion of it as well. So, awesome. Music by Ricky Lee Jones. It's really fun.
Yeah,
yeah,
really fun.
Yeah.
Okay, over to you, Tree. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
First timer. So you're a sophomore and you're a dance major, and you were saying interdisciplinary minor.
Yes.
So have you brought some of that interdisciplinary kind of expertise to your piece?
I have not. I decided to do something a little different and get inspired by the world. So.
We were talking earlier about it, and your piece is about?
It's about women empowerment. I think sometime over this summer, something passed that women would get in trouble if they had abortions. And that strikes something in me, so
I think it would, yeah.
Decided to create a piece about just coming together.
So how does that manifest itself in a dance piece? What have you done creatively to kind of get that message across?
I've created 2 separate groups that have 2 separate ideas, and then ideally they have their own sections to kind of do their own thing, and then ideally at the end they come together as one and support each other.
Cool. And we were also talking about the music you chose, and there's a funny story about how did you find the music for your piece?
So my jazz class that I took for first year seminar, I didn't like it, but he played a song called My Queen is Harriet Tubman, and I just fell in love with the song, and I ended up listening to it on repeat a couple of times, and I was like, I might as well create something of this.
So here's a question for both of you. For folks watching this who don't know what goes into rehearsing and creating a piece, what is sort of the process like from your initial idea to the realized piece that you bring before, say, the designers to light and stuff? What steps do you go through?
Well, I think everybody has their own creative process. Some people do a lot of research and thought ahead of time. Some people have it totally planned out before they go into the studio with their dancers. Some people create with their dancers and collaborate with their dancers during rehearsal. And I think it kind of runs that gamut. I'm a planner, and I come to rehearsal with movement that I teach my dancers. What's your creative process?
I'm a little bit in between. So sometimes, depending on what my dancers feel comfortable with, I'll have them improv a little bit to see what they can do. And then based on that, we'll build off of it as like fundamentals, and then I'll add choreography on top.
So while you're working, do you tell your dancers what the concept is?
At the beginning,
Yeah, go ahead.
At the beginning, I did tell my dancers, and I told them to dive into the depths of the piece. So I didn't want them to just do the movement. I wanted them to actually take the role and take control of their character. So in order for them to do that, I put some movement on them, and I saw what they were comfortable with, and then I would take some things out if it didn't look like they were comfortable enough with their bodies. But then other times I would just leave it, and then I would build off of things that they would do in improv sessions.
Cool. So, I mean, I'm somebody who loves working with my students on stage, but you're sort of opposite. Now you're working with students, but you're also working with professionals and the faculty. What's that like from a student's perspective?
It's overwhelming, a little scary, but I like the opportunity and I'm up for a challenge.
Yeah. So what are the challenges of working with, from your perspective, working with faculty members?
I guess the challenge would be trying to pick which dancer you want, because faculty gets first dibs.
So did you have to stand toe-to-toe at auditions and say, I want that one, and you have a faculty member?
I did.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I did, but I lost.
Because I think that's an interesting, it's a learning process, isn't it, of how to negotiate artistically.
Yeah.
So what did you have to, did you stand up for yourself, or?
I tried.
You tried?
I didn't succeed, but I did end up getting some dancers that I really did like, and I'm happy with my turnout.
And I think part of the learning process is working with people you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And finding ways to, communicate what you want through movement and choreography, and not necessarily friendship. So, and I think our student choreographers do very well at that, ultimately.
So stepping back and looking at the whole concert now as a whole, an average Appalachian student coming in and taking a look at this is going to see what for, say, 90 minutes?
Very, very eclectic dances. They're all really different. Some are really serious and very modern based. Some are kind of collagey and interesting. Some are different stylistically, like Trees is more African and jazz based. So I venture to say that while you may not like all of the dances, that they're different enough that there will be some that you will like, for sure, because they're different enough.
Wow. Well, there you have it then, an evening of eclectic dance, something for everyone. And Fade will be performed in the Valborg Theater November 20th through November 24th. For more information on tickets and showtimes, you can go online, www.theaterdance.appstate.edu, or you can call the Valborg box office at 828-262-4046. For Theater and Dance Today, I'm your host, Professor Derek. I'm going to see you at the theater.
That's it for this week's episode.
Thank you for joining us to hear more about the impact that various forms of music have here in our community.
Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at watchapptv.com and check out our YouTube channel, AppTV, for more content.
Until next time,
bye, neighbor.